Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new on this channel, please press the subscribe button, and if you are a returning subscriber, please press the like button on this video. I'll be talking about PGWP, which is a postgraduate work permit. You can get your postgraduate work permit in less than 30 minutes or 1 hour. Yes, you heard me right. Less than 30 minutes or 1 hour. But take note, there is a recent change in IRCC policy. You can go to the border service and convert your study permit to work permit, which is postgraduate work permit, and that is usually granted in less than few hours. So how is the experience like? For a student that finishes in any post-secondary school education in Canada, just locate any nearest border service close to you. Go to the border service. While you are driving down, so here is the process. Drive down to the border service, cross over. The border is usually US border. When you cross to the US border, just tell the border service they will stop you over and say, okay, what are you here to do? They will stop you and tell them you want to apply for your postgraduate work permit. Usually the border service officials will tell you that, oh, you can apply online. Yeah, sure, you can apply online, but if you can't wait for the processing period of applying online, then you can get it on the spot right at the border service. They will let you in, give you an administrative refusal, which is more like you are being refused entry into the US border. Yes, sure, you are not going to be allowed to enter into the US border because you don't have a visa to go to US. That does not also, the administrative refusal they gave to you does not impact your visa if you want to apply for US visa. So it's not a denial of visa from US. All they just do is just an administrative refusal, meaning that you're not allowed to enter into US. With the administrative reviews letter, then you go back into the other side of Canadian border. Right there, you give the officials, tell them what you want to do, they allow you in. Go to the Canadian border, which is going to the Canadian border service desk, and they will attend to you, give them all the documentations that they require. Ask you for your transcript, ask you for your letter of completion, check your documentations. Once everything is right, pay the application fee, which is the same thing as what you pay online, and you'll be given your postgraduate work permit, depending on the length of education that you do, and based on the official's interpretation of the law. But here is the flip. Recently, there's a recent change by Canadian government, and that has been discontinued. So no longer will work permit be granted at the border. So the new change means that that will no longer be the case. So you can no longer do a postgraduate work permit on the spot at the border service. So every application has to go through the online portal. So that is the recent changes in Canadian immigrations. Before that change, you can also renew your dependent visa on the spot, be it open work permit, be it study permit of your dependent children. That could also be renewed along with the principal applications. So that's the recent change that I felt, okay, let me bring about on this video. There are a couple of other changes also that I'll be talking about. Part of also the recent change to student is no longer will a student be able to switch a program with a study visa that has been granted. So if you want to switch your program, switch your institution of study, you have to apply for a new study permit. This is a new process as well, which is the new immigration rule by Canadian service in order to limit the rate at which people switch programs or switch universities without documentations. So this is a limitation. So let's say, for example, you came in with a study permit for University of Toronto, for example, and you want to move to University of Saskatchewan or whatever university, in that regards, you will need to apply for a new study permit in order to switch to that institution or to switch to a college, for example. So that is the most recent changes also in IRCC immigration. You can also change your visa status right at the Canadian Border Service. It's not necessarily have to be transitioning between study permit to a postgraduate work permit. A visitor visa could also change to a study permit right at the border service. The transition will be done right there, and the evaluations will be done right there. Unlike if you apply online and you have to wait for the processing time. For someone who have a visitor visa and already secured an admission, secured the necessary documentations to study in Canada, you can go to the border service and change your visitor visa to study permit right on the spot. Just follow the same process of someone who is applying for a postgraduate work permit. So the process is the same. It doesn't matter what kind of visa you are changing to. It's just more like assessing Canada Border Service or Canadian services at the border. That is what it literally means. So it doesn't matter what kind of visa you are trying to apply for, whatever services you are trying to apply for. It's all about assessing those services right at the border. So you might need to check what are the recent policies or changes that are applicable to this. Some services are no longer applicable. Some services are no longer accessible at the border. It has to go through the online applications, while some others still are still being allowed at the border, that you can just apply at the border without having to apply online. The process to get those services assessed is still the same thing as someone who wants to access a postgraduate work permit. I just would like to put that out there for someone who might, or this might be beneficial to someone that you know, or someone that needs those services, just to be aware. So I'll be bringing about most of all these recent changes in immigration policy. This is just one of those series. Stay tuned, like this video, share within your group, and also press the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. All right, see you soon. Ciao.